All right, so picture this ancient Rome, the Colosseum, packed, crowds are roaring. But instead of gladiators, right, it's the Chiefs and the Eagles head to head. Kind of wild to think about, right?
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Well, that's kind of what we're looking at today. We're doing a deep dive into how the NFL has become, like our modern day gladiatorial spectacle, right?
Yeah.
We're going through, taking some excerpts actually from NFL, Gladiators, Gridirons, and the Billion Dollar Circus to uncover the story behind this whole thing, the business, the risk, the fans, the whole shebang.
Yeah, I mean, what's so fascinating is how that spectacle, evolved.
Yeah.
You're talking about a sport that started with, college kids. No helmets, no pads, just pure raw passion, right?
Yeah.
And now, fast forward to today, it's a multi-billion-dollar empire with stadiums that cost, more than some countries' GDPs.
It's a massive leap, for sure. And you know what else blows my mind? It's the sheer amount of real estate the NFL takes up in our lives.
Yeah.
Sundays are a given, but then Thanksgiving, Christmas, Monday nights, it's slowly taking over the calendar. I mean, it seems like it.
Well, that's because the NFL is more than just a sport. It's woven into the fabric of American culture.
Yeah.
It gives us a shared experience.
Yeah.
It gives us a reason to gather. It's a topic that can bridge divides.
Yeah.
It's Monday morning water cooler talk. It's fantasy football leagues. It's, family traditions.
It's inescapable, really. You can't escape it, even if you try.
Oh.
So, all right, we've got this wildly popular mega money machine, but this book, it doesn't shy away from, the darker side either.
No, it doesn't at all. Take the players. We see these incredible athletes signing contracts worth millions. But the average NFL career is a mere 3.3 years. 3.3 years. That's because these guys put their bodies on the line every single game, risking debilitating injuries like concussions, torn ACLs, and the long-term effects of CTE, which is a degenerative brain disease linked to repeated head trauma.
I mean, it really makes you think about what these guys go through for our entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? And over 78% of NFL players face financial hardship within 2 years of retirement.
That's right.
2 years. It's a stark contrast, to the glamorous image we often see.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely,
Right.
yeah. And it makes you wonder, about the human cost of this billion-dollar industry. And it's not just about the physical toll either. Many players struggle with the transition to life after football.
Right.
They're used to a structured environment, a team atmosphere, and then suddenly that's gone.
Yeah, it's like they're thrust back into the real world without a playbook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's often this, lack of financial literacy. These guys are so focused on the game, they don't always have the skills or support to manage their wealth.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, so, there's a real need for better financial education and support systems for these athletes. And sometimes there's, a cultural pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle, which can lead to, overspending and bad investments.
So we've got the players risking their bodies, their financial futures. But let's not forget, the NFL wouldn't be what it is without the fans.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where it gets really interesting. Have you ever thought about, why we're so passionate about our teams?
Yeah.
Why do we wear their colors, follow their every move, and live and die by their wins and losses?
I think the NFL has created a sense of belonging, a tribalism that's almost unmatched in the world of sports. It goes beyond just rooting for a team, It becomes part of your identity, a way to connect with your community, your family, even your city or your region.
Yeah, it's your team becomes an extension of yourself.
Exactly, and the NFL understands this. They've mastered the art of cultivating that tribalism. Think about all the rituals we have around the game, tailgating, fantasy football, wearing jerseys, even the superstitions. It's all part of creating that shared experience, that sense of belonging.
And then you've got the merchandise, the stadiums, the marketing. It's a whole ecosystem designed to just draw you in and make you feel like you're part of something bigger.
And let's not forget the media. Sports talk shows, podcasts, social media. It's a constant stream of NFL content that keeps us engaged and talking about the game even when it's not game day.
Yeah, it's true. So it's they figured out how to tap into our primal instincts.
Yeah.
Our need for connection, belonging. But what about you, as a listener? Have you ever stopped to think about the rituals or traditions you have around your favorite team?
Yeah.
What makes you feel connected to that team? It's fascinating how these things become so ingrained in our lives.
It really is. But, for all its power and influence, the NFL has also faced its fair share of controversies.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
From Deflategate, where the Patriots were accused of tampering with footballs, to player protests against racial injustice, to issues of domestic violence and chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE. I mean, the league has been through some rough patches, for sure.
Yeah, and yet they seem to have, a Teflon shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter how much controversy surrounds them, the NFL always manages to bounce back. The fans keep coming back, the ratings stay high, the money keeps flowing. It's remarkable.
How do they do it? Is it just masterful PR, or are we, the fans, just willingly turning a blind eye? Or what is it?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors. The NFL is undoubtedly a PR machine. They know how to spin narratives, control the message, deflect criticism.
Right.
They also have a knack for throwing us a bone every now and then, whether it's a rule change, a feel-good story, or some kind of community outreach initiative.
Yeah, it's like they're constantly trying to appease us to keep us on their side.
In a way, yes, but I also think there's a deeper psychological element at play here. As fans, we invest so much in our teams. It's an emotional investment. It's a time investment. It's a financial investment. And when you're that invested, it's hard to, let go. Even when you're faced with behavior that you might find reprehensible.
So you're saying we're kind of stuck in this, love-hate relationship with the NFL.
It's a bit like that, yeah.
We see the flaws, we know the problems, but we can't seem to quit them.
Yeah. And then there's that tribalism we talked about earlier. When our team is under fire, we feel like we're under fire, too.
Yeah.
So we circle the wagons, we defend them, even when they might be in the wrong.
That's a really interesting point. It's our loyalty to the team blinds us to the bigger picture sometimes.
In some cases, yes. But, the book also raises this fascinating question, if those Roman gladiators could see the NFL today, what would they think?
Whoa. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine them being transported to, a modern stadium. With the lights, the jumbotrons, the 80,000 screaming fans.
Would they be impressed by, the athleticism, the strategy, the sheer spectacle of it all? Or would they be horrified by the violence, the injuries, the commercialism? Remember, these were men who fought to the death for entertainment.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to think about. And it makes you wonder, how much have we really evolved when it comes to our appetite for entertainment?
Yeah.
Are we just a more sophisticated version of those Roman crowds just cheering for our modern-day gladiators?
That's a question for each of us to ponder. But, there's another aspect of the NFL that often gets overlooked. It's financial power.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that up until 2015, the NFL enjoyed tax-exempt status?
Wait, seriously? A multi-billion-dollar industry with tax-exempt status. That's wild. How did that even happen?
Well, the NFL argued that it was a nonprofit organization because its member teams were individually incorporated as nonprofits. And for years, this argument held sway, even as the league raked in billions from television deals, merchandising, and ticket sales.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating example of how much power and influence the NFL wields, even behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that the NFL is more than just a game. It's a complex business operation, a political force, and a cultural phenomenon that reflects our values, our loves, and maybe even our darker impulses.
We talk about those Super Bowl commercials that cost millions to air, and some people might say, that's a waste of money.
Right. But think about it. The 2023 Super Bowl alone reached 113 million viewers.
Oh, wow.
That's more eyes than any other televised event in the U.S. These commercials aren't just ads. They're cultural moments, instantly recognizable and often talked about for weeks after the game. It's marketing genius, really.
Okay, so we've established that the NFL is this massive cultural force, a business empire, a source of endless fascination and debate,
Mm-hmm.
But for those listeners who love the game but are feeling a little conflicted about everything we've discussed, what's a positive way to engage with the NFL?
That's a great question. If you want to support the game in a way that feels more meaningful, consider getting involved with team charities or community programs.
Oh,
Many teams are actively involved in their local communities, addressing issues like poverty, education, and health. By supporting these efforts, you can channel your passion for the team into something positive and make a real difference.
Yeah, it's a way to reconcile your love of the game with your desire to, like, make a positive impact. And it's a reminder that even within this massive, complex machine, you know, there are people working to make things better.
Exactly. And for those who are passionate about the well-being of the players, there are organizations that support former players struggling with injuries, financial hardship, or the transition to life after football. You can donate to these organizations, volunteer your time, or simply raise awareness about the challenges these athletes face.
Yeah, it's all about finding ways to engage with the NFL in a way that aligns with your values and your desire to see positive change.
Okay, so we've talked about the business, the players, the fans, and even the ethical dilemmas. But here's something I keep coming back to. Like, if the NFL is this modern-day gladiatorial spectacle, who are the emperors pulling the strings behind it all?
That's where things get really interesting. The real power in the NFL lies with the team owners.
Okay.
This group of billionaires who, like, control everything. From, player salaries to franchise locations to the very rules of the game.
Oh, they're the ones, like, calling the shots. But where does their power even come from?
Well, their power comes from a combination of, like, their wealth, their influence, and the structure of the league itself. The NFL is a private entity.
Yeah.
And each team is, like, essentially a separate business with its own owner.
So it's like a club of super rich individuals. And they've, like, banded together to create this, like, massive money-making machine. Exactly. And because they own the teams, they have a vested interest in maximizing profits.
Right.
This means negotiating lucrative TV deals, building state-of-the-art stadiums, often with taxpayer subsidies, by the way,
Yeah.
and keeping labor costs under control.
Wait, labor costs? You mean the players?
Yes, the players. The NFL has a long history of clashes with its players, over salaries, benefits, working conditions. Remember, like, for all the talk of player empowerment, the owners ultimately hold the cards.
So even with the glitz and the glamour, it's still like a business at its core.
Yeah.
Where the workers, the players, are putting their bodies on the line for the benefit of, the owners.
It's a complex dynamic, that's for sure. And it raises questions about, fairness, exploitation, and the distribution of wealth within the league.
It's a far cry from those early days of the sport. When, like, it was college kids, right? Playing for the love of the game. Speaking of those early days, how did this whole thing even become so popular? I mean, how did we get from a bunch of college kids playing on muddy fields to, like, this global entertainment empire?
Well, the NFL's rise to dominance is a story of shrewd business decisions, savvy marketing, and, maybe a little bit of luck along the way. They were early adopters of television. They recognized its potential to bring the game into, millions of homes.
So they basically rode the wave of television's popularity.
In a way, yes. But they also made some key strategic moves, like creating rivalries, scheduling games on primetime TV, and, cultivating a sense of national identity around the sport.
Yeah, it's like they tapped into something like primal, the deep-seated desire for competition, tribalism, heroes.
Exactly. And they packaged it all in a way that was, both exciting and accessible. Football is a relatively simple game to understand, even if you don't know, like, all the intricacies of it. And the violence, the athleticism, the drama, I mean, it's all very compelling to watch.
I guess that's why they call it the gridiron, right? It's like a battle.
Yeah.
A test of strength and will.
Yeah.
And we, the viewers, are drawn to that, even if we don't want to admit it.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about witnessing these incredible athletes pushing themselves to the limit that, like, resonates with us on a deep level. It's a reminder of our own capacity for strength, resilience, and maybe even a little bit of aggression.
It was like more than just a game, right?
Yeah.
It's a reflection of who we are, our desires, our fears, our values. It's entertainment, it's business, it's a cultural phenomenon that's like shaped our society in pretty profound ways.
As we've seen, it's a phenomenon fraught with contradictions, ethical challenges, complexities. But one thing's for sure, the NFL is here to stay. It's a force to be reckoned with, a source of, endless fascination, and a topic that will continue to spark debate and discussion for generations to come.
Well, folks, there you have it. Our deep dive into the world of the NFL. A world of billion-dollar deals, gladiatorial contests, passionate fans, and a legacy that is both inspiring and troubling.
If those ancient Romans could see us now, glued to our screens, decked out in team colors, Would they be impressed by our modern-day spectacle, or would they recognize it as a familiar echo of their own time? It's a question worth pondering as we navigate this complex and ever-evolving world of sport and entertainment.
Until next time, keep diving deep, and remember, there's always more beneath the surface.